The views, opinions, and wild ramblings expressed on this podcast are strictly those of our hosts and do not reflect the thoughts, values, or overly serious policies of their employers, sponsors, advertisers, or anyone with a legal team. All scenarios we discuss are based on past experiences, most of which we barely survived, and have nothing to do with any of our current jobs or employers. Basically, don't sue us. We're just here for the laughs, not the lawsuits.
Welcome to the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR, the podcast where we blend workplace drama, HR nightmares, and a way too much oversharing into one wildly inappropriate package.
Your hosts, they're a real dream team. First, we have Mama Mel, the HR queen with a knack for keeping it real and breaking the rules when nobody's looking.
Heavy on the no one's looking.
Next, we have Dr. Green, the one with all the fancy-ass degrees and the questionable sense of humor.
E equals MC squared.
Such a nerd. I'm the Big Llama. I come for the big laughs, the bigger opinions, and absolutely zero filter, because I don't even know what that word means. And last but not least, we've got Jake from HR. He's not wearing any khakis, and it's questionable if he's even wearing pants, but he is here to ensure that we're breaking HR guidelines just for fun.
I'm always here to judge.
So buckle up, grab your handbook, maybe a cocktail, and join us as we figure out HR one awkward scenario at a time. Hello! Welcome back to another episode of Just Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR podcast. That is a very long title, guys. We might want to rethink the title of this podcast.
I've been told that 5 times already.
We need to workshop it. Put it in a think tank, and come back with a streamlined title.
I swore I thought you were about to quote the song Missy Elliott. Flip it on down and reverse it. Let me work it.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you're looking for a podcast where we're going to say things that corporate won't, this is it. This is a place. This is your group. This is your tribe. And today we're talking about mass layoffs. I feel like that should be followed by like some detrimental, scary music.
Dun dun dun.
Wah, 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 wah.
But also what HR really wants you to know, right? So like, let's put the question out there, right? Why do we lay off? Why do companies lay off? And it almost seems like companies lay off, and you guys can correct me if it's not your experience, but it seems like they lay off most when they're thriving, or when the perception is that they're thriving.
Yeah. No, I think you look at this a number of ways, but that's one that I have seen. It's like you're doing so well that you're like, well, do we need all these people? Like, maybe we can do it with less. I don't know. Sometimes it's greed. Like, what's the profit number? What's the margin? And then you go, how do we increase it? Well, cut a couple jobs and then you've got some extra cash flow. But I've seen that, and that's crazy.
So, like, let's give like a really brief description, right, of like corporate spending by quarter, as we understand it, right? So, like quarter one, I understand like new year, new me, new budget. We're hiring, but at the same time, we're reducing and we're laying off. Corporate or quarter two, you have the green light for everything. Hire everybody. Send out that survey. Do the trainings. Book the conferences. Just quarter two is like free for all. Just we've got the budget. Do it. Spend it. Quarter three is like crisis. Okay, wait a minute. We did the survey, but now what do we do with it? What were the results? Did we have any action plans from it? And then quarter 4 is like, use up your budget before it's gone. Buy the company merch, buy the branded stuff, send everybody stress balls, a very unnecessary little branded Tic Tacs and whatever the little knickknacks. You just want to blow through your budget. I feel
Pizza
like
parties.
that's the appropriate way to spend money if you're in corporate America.
It seems that way. I'll say that when I learned about budgets, and it wasn't that I didn't know what budgets were, I just didn't understand why the spending happened. We were in the middle of laying off. Project Momentum. That's what it was called, Project Momentum. Come up with innovative ways to reduce and increase value, right? Project Momentum. They like branded it like this new thing. But anyway, we're in the middle of laying people off, and all of a sudden the fourth quarter hits, and like the construction and the upgrades and new TVs and all this stuff got greenlit. Like we're repainting the building, and I'm like, what? I thought we didn't have any money. And they're like, oh no, we have to spend whatever the capital budget is for taxes, and so that we can recoup some kind of tax benefit. And I was like, so it has nothing to do with just plain dollars and cents. It sometimes has to do with kickbacks and rebates and dollars. And so it doesn't make sense, I think, from a perspective of like the regular worker, right? The worker bee who's at the front line. They don't get it. Like they just see that they're getting their budgets cut, or they're getting people reduced, and they're not getting their raises. And then all of a sudden corporate is remodeling the entire corporate office. And they're like, but it made sense to me, but it's still stupid in my opinion. I don't know.
So like mass layoffs, right? Like ding ding ding, HR fun fact, mass layoffs are budget driven. So like pretty much a spreadsheet decides.
Yeah.
Not your manager.
Well, you're a number. Plain and simple. You're a number on the spreadsheet with a salary, and that salary equals spend. And it's sad. But that's why we've said it on the show a number of times. It's like you do what you got to do. You do a good job, but understand you are at some point just a number in somebody's view, whether they mean to do it or not. But I'm bitter over it though. By the way, because I've been a number 3 times, and it hurts. It hurts every time. But
yeah.
But I was an 11-cent number.
Does it count that you were a double digit?
Not
a single digit.
I mean, you were double digit quality.
Exactly.
I told you they just forgot the 0.
So it should have been $110. So
yes. So, but what I do agree with y'all, and all the mass layoffs that I've been a part of, especially with more recent employers, we let people go because we need to save money, but then we want to reinvest into benefits, and we want to give them raises, and we want to give them extra money for the ones that we didn't let go. And it's not a substantial amount. It's not like we're giving them, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 bonuses. And I will tell you that somewhere, someone with absolutely no understanding of how people operations work is holding the majority share of the decision in who's being laid off and how we should reinvest in our current employers to maintain morale. Because it wasn't HR. HR, unfortunately, is the cavalry that carried out the orders, and they look like they are the devil.
Yeah.
We didn't make the decision, because we all know if we made the decision on who we're laying off, we're going to be more methodical, more strategic in where we lay them off. Do we want to like if we know that we're going to have a ramp up, like let's offer voluntary furloughs. Let's offer part-time. Let's offer, limited hours that still helps you maintain your benefits to help, accommodate people's personal lives that are not financially driven. we wouldn't just immediately start cutting, 16% of our employees because, well, we can't afford them. But for the ones we're going to keep, let's try to give them annual bonuses. Like, how does that make sense? You're not going to make them do 4 times the amount of work and then give them a really, really shitty bonus. Like, it just makes sense.
We certainly execute this strategy, but we do not design it.
No.
And also, fun fact, we're often looped in after the decisions are made.
Yeah.
And it's just looping us into, here you go, deliver the message. And then we get tomatoes thrown at us and we get called all sorts of names in the book. And we just have to stand there and take it. And you know what? It does take an emotional toll on us. We are people. And it is not a fun thing to do, to sit there in front of folks and have to deliver this message that we're probably finding out no more than 24 hours before we have to deliver this message.
Mm-hmm.
And being called all sorts. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we cannot think of a layoff conversation, business update, town hall, meeting, whatever you call it at your place of employment. Where you've left there and you've just felt like the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah. So let me give you a really good example of layoffs that made absolutely no sense and hurt the company. And I'll use, it's not a company I'm with now, but I'll still use some vague terms. So there's a company I used to work for. It's service driven, right? They had 2 people in one location that was they made 100% of the revenue for service. And because of a mathematic equation that stipulated there wasn't enough work for 2 service individuals, they laid one off. And not even 2 months later, the other service individual said, you know what? I'm not doing this, and dipped out and quit. They now have nobody to manage service in that location, which is 100, I wouldn't say 100%. I'd say it's 85% of their revenue. How did that make any sense? Anyone in HR knows you cannot take a job that makes 80+%, even 50% of your revenue, and put it on one person's shoulder and expect it to work. Like, what about PTO, like vacation? What about unexpected leaves of absences? What about an increased workload that's unexpected? What if someone gives a resignation and leaves unexpectedly? Who's going to carry that weight? Who's certified to do that job? Obviously, no one looped in the right people that work in HR, because when I got involved in that, I was told days, if not a day before it happened, just because I was carrying out the conversation. And I can tell you that if they would have looped me into the decision, I would have very courageously put my foot down and said, absolutely not. I don't agree with this. And I would have pushed back hard, because at the end of the day, all that's going to do is put a strain on the business, put a strain on the employees, puts a strain on HR, because we have to deal with those complaints. We have to deal now trying to find last minute talent and somehow manage to get them hired and onboarded, knowing that it takes on average 6 months to get someone regulated in a service industry.
Yeah, and I think too, the fact that we get looped in late is really bad, because we don't have input. And again, there's some valuable things that we can bring to the table just to think about. We know leave schedules that might be coming up. We know that if anyone is coming back to the workforce from injuries, there's a bunch of things that we know that we can help. Be like, listen, if you just shifted this around, you've got some space, right? But I do want to talk about, just briefly before we move on, how, again, this is where we earn our dollars and we get the Academy Awards, how that looks on a Teams call when we are told the layoffs are coming, right? Like, it is stoic faces because you're trying to hold either emotion, or you want to talk to your buddy about the little chisme here and be like, all right, who's gonna do it? Who's getting the assignment? Which department? holy shit. And we just have to take it. So we're sitting there and we're hearing this person from our, HR division just kind of ramble off. Well, the bottom line and the dollars, reduction in the workforce, it's 3,000 people across, 6 states, and we're going to be engaged. And we're like, just like, we're shell shocked. I think it takes us a minute, but then, we all, our response is pretty simple, which is, no problem. We'll get working on it. And, we'll pull out the templates and we will have the scripts ready, and we start going to town halls right after that. Then they know what's coming at that point. There's 100 town halls scheduled. I don't know. That's the worst for, that's the worst for us to sit there and just kind of take it, because I would be lying to you if at some point I didn't think about my own job, even though I was in HR.
100%.
Like, I am now charged with executing the plan to release people, give them their information, but at the same time, I'm going, when is it my turn? And that's in my building, and that building houses 80% of this building is going to be empty. So do they need me? I think it happened. I won't say where it happened, but it was like the numbers game, right? Like, I had 400 people I supported. You had 2,000, and I'm thinking 400 versus 2,000. I am not valuable anymore. And it's stuff like that. As an HR person, you got to be thinking about that. So
yeah, and you get these news, right? And I go back to the emotional toll that it has on us, because you just got these news, right? We all just got off this Zoom meeting or Teams meeting or whatever. We just got told cuts are coming. Prepare for, prepare. You're walking around and people that are getting cut are talking about vacation plans. They're starting families. They're buying homes. Mm-hmm. They are buying vehicles. They're talking about, it's like knowing the iceberg hit the Titanic, but you can't tell the band to stop playing.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's not fun.
You want to know an analogy that I used with one of my previous supervisors? You're telling us from operations, you're telling us to go put unleaded gas in a diesel truck. We're telling you it's not going to work. You're telling us we have to do it, and we carry out your orders. The car screws up, and then operations looks at us and goes, figure out how to fix it.
That's true.
And it's like, you told us to do it, and now we have to figure out how to fix the problem that you caused.
Yeah, I and here's the thing. I will tell, listen, if it doesn't bother you and you're in HR, if you don't feel any emotion at all, there's something wrong with you, and you probably shouldn't be in the job. I'm going to be honest. I've done well to hide it. I mean, I was a fucking hatchet man for my company. I literally drove around the state and I handed out red folders in mass. I showed up to an office and I was the Grim Reaper. It was whoever I'm meeting with is gone. And I had folders. So I had to go and do this to people who, like you're saying, Mel, that's the part I think the HR people become not numb to, but you can become an asshole. It's a person with a family. I have no problem terminating somebody for cause who did something stupid or ongoing that they can't fix. I have no problem with that, because you did that to yourself. But when it's something like a mass layoff and you don't have control, you could be a great performer. You can be, have given time to a company and been one of the best out there. And because of the numbers game and you happen to be on the cutting line, I show up and hand you a folder and say, well, good luck feeding your family. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I've heard HR people just relish that shit. And I'm like, first of all, you're in the wrong job. And please get out of my industry, get out of my work, because you're making it bad for me. You know what I mean? There's not one HR person that should like what they do in terms of that part of it.
Yeah. I think the word that you're looking for is probably it's understandable to be desensitized, but you shouldn't just not care.
Right. Yeah. And it's horrible. Well, I told I think I don't know if I've told this story on here. That's what made me change from HR for a while. Like I left HR because I was the hatchet man. And when I sat down on this guy's desk, looked at a picture on his desk, and his family looked like mine. And I had to tell him he wasn't going to be able to feed his family. I cried on the way home. I was a wreck. Shit. I went and had a nice stiff drink when I got home. The next day I went to my boss and was like, I want to do something else. Like that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in HR in terms of like the moment it got to me mentally. I was like checked out. I don't want to do this anymore. And it was horrible because I looked at him and I told him he doesn't have a job. And I was like, his kids goes to Little League.
Employees will tell you, like, you don't care. It's not your job that's being cut. We're just a number. We can tell you're reading from a script. Like,
sometimes we're told too, right? We have to.
But I do care and I do feel bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not personal. I think that's also like a ding, ding, ding HR pro tip nugget. It's not personal.
You know what? The one thing I do want to say though, this in as far as for anyone that's listening that's not in HR or those who are in HR that have to read scripts, please make sure y'all read them in advance, familiarize yourself with them so you can try to add some humanity into it. Because the last thing people want to hear when they're being fired is, attention all employees that have attended the call on 2/7. We are here to tell the employees. And it's like the scripts are written very black and white, and they're there for you to. I mean, yes, you have to read them verbatim, but you don't have. I mean, you could say, hey, team, we're here today to talk about layoffs that will go into effect today. Versus teams, we are talking about 2026, where layoffs shall go into effect effective immediately. It's like you can say the same thing without saying identically word for word what's on that piece of paper, and then you shouldn't read off the fill in the blanks. You shouldn't read the part that's addressing one employee when it says tell the employee when you're talking to 15 people at the same time, because to me, you didn't even care enough to read the script before you got into that room. Like, at least care enough to know what you're supposed to tell me before you tell me.
Yeah. So let's talk about how layoff lists are actually built, right? So we know it's budget numbers first, positions second, and sadly, people last.
Yeah.
Right. We're looking at when we have layoffs, right? Then we have to talk to like the leaders, right? The leaders that are going to sit in these town halls or these meetings, business updates with us. I always tell them, right? Like, put your business hat on for a second, right? Because you'll certainly get those leaders that are very compassionate people, empaths, right? And they want to know, genuinely, they want to know, how was this decided? How do we decide who goes, right? And typically, it's the lower performers, right? If you're talking about like entry-level employees, but when you're talking about, like at a corporate level or C-suite level, it's like if you're a high earner, you're vulnerable, my friend.
Yeah. you were rewarded for your good work, but now you're a target for your expense. And one of us in this group knows that very well. Yes.
Right? You're a high earner, you're vulnerable, my friend, and you're going to be cut.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Mama Mel made a really good point, but besides the high earners, we can get on top of that in just a minute. If you're doing mass layoffs and you're not including in the verbiage what criteria was used to decide how employees were selected to layoffs, and you've already failed. You already failed in delivering that termination. They should already know that you took attendance, write-ups, and productivity were the primary factors in deciding, which employees were going to be laid off, in today's session, or however you want to word it. If you're not sharing that with the employees, you have already felt. Because at the end of the day, if they fight the termination, if they claim that it was unjustified, you're going to have to share that information anyways. So why not go ahead and at least explain to the employees how their head ended up on the chopping block, you know? And granted, they're not going to say, oh, you're the highest earner, so unfortunately we added you to that list. They're not going to say that because that's not legal. It's not justified.
Right.
You know, and it's
right.
actually a perception of targeting. So we could talk about all the things that are used to create that list of employees that we don't talk about. Because at the end of the day, we all know if we're terminating, 15, 20, 100, 200 employees, the more you terminate, the more you can hide a name into that pile of someone that shouldn't have ended up on it, but we want to go ahead and just get rid of them since we don't like them and we may not have as much attendance issue with them, or we may not have many write-ups on them. So we're just going to throw that name in that list and just make it a part of the noise and hope that it washes out. Like we all know that's happened way too many times.
Becky becomes part of that list real quick. It's just like, all right, this is our time to get Becky and put her on the list.
Poor Becky.
That is an unfortunate truth. Politics definitely exists.
Well,
Yeah.
I've done it a couple of ways. One is a very fair process where they did like a review board. Like you would bring the people's salaries, information, performance, and they had a board of people that were from outside of that department to give a fair review. Like they didn't know the people supposedly. I've seen that, and I think that's a fair way to do it because then you have like a methodology. But I've also been in situations where it's a horse trading contest. It's like, all right, what about Johnny? Can we get rid of Johnny? Oh yeah, he's expendable. Put him on the list. Like it has no rhyme or reason other than we're cleaning house. We have the green light to clean the house a little bit, and let's get rid of our problem children, or the favorites stay, or the cousin of the friend of the I've seen it that way, and it's the most disheartening part. The reason that it's like burned in my brain is I had this director who I thought the world of. And again, young in my career, she spoke so well about all of us, and she said she loved us. It's my first like work feeling connected, right? Then I get into HR, I become part of that inner circle, and I'm sitting in the back. And when I tell you she was as cutthroat as ever, and I was like, this bitch. That's exactly what in my head. I'm like, this bitch right here. I love this lady. I would have given her one of my firstborn children. And she is back there just cutting like she doesn't give a fuck. And I'm like, it's the first time I got like, oh, you're in the big leagues now, that type of shit. And it was sad though. It was like I left that day like completely, like almost like, I won't say, when you believe in something magical and all of a sudden you realize it's not magical, and you're like, oh, that's my childhood has been ripped from me. But the politics are real. And and again, if you have some good organizations that don't want to get themselves in legal liability, they'll have some methodology, but there's also some backdoor trading and stuff that you go, why did that person end up there? And that's probably why.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, backdoor trading. Let's go. I like that word. Backdoor trading.
Or horse trading.
Actually, I guess I'll go a little off topic because I want to ask what y'all's thoughts are on this.
Mm-hmm.
Hiring a friend.
How about firing a friend?
So let's talk about hiring a friend. Would you do it?
No.
I will say hiring a friend is 10% successful.
Yeah.
Out of it's not
for a personal level.
Well, it's 10% successful in the number of friends that are hired. I will tell you that I think we can all say that we have seen or know of someone that got hired because they were friends or friend-like with the person that helped get them on with the company. in all
Yes.
those situations that we know that where this has happened, there's one or two that they're hard workers, they're dedicated, they bust their butts, they do an amazing job, and they either get burnout and go on to another company because they're not putting up with this crap anymore, or they end up getting promoted and they do well within the organization. But 90% of the time, it doesn't work out because the person that is currently with the company is always in a senior leadership position. They always have blinders. They can't be objective. You know, they whether they consciously or unconsciously do it, they're biased in seeing what's truly going on with that employee. Now, is it possible that the person that helped get them hired can take that and put it off on the side and put their work hat on and be a boss and go, you know what? No matter how much I like you, you're terrible at your job, and I need to share that with you. Yeah, it's possible. It does happen, but it doesn't happen very often because, you know, I'll be the first one to throw it out there. I've been, you know, while I had the qualifications and the experience to get a job, when I first got into HR, it was very hard for me because I didn't have the title. I didn't hold the title of HR. I did everything that HR business partners did, minus the talent
Actual
acquisitions piece of it. And nobody would touch me. Nobody would give me an opportunity to really put on that HR hat until a colleague of mine, which I consider 50% a friend, but the other 50% I still consider her like a boss. Like I respect her still like a supervisor, and I would work for her any day. So in that situation, if we would say no, I wouldn't hire someone that I'm friends with, well, then I shouldn't have been hired in that scenario, even though I had the skills and the qualifications. I didn't have the title, which is what her leadership wanted, what that company wanted. They wanted the title. They didn't care about the experience. They didn't care about whether or not you could do the job. They wanted the title because that's what mattered to them.
And well, you think about it from a recruiting perspective. If you don't have that title, then they're not going to read what you had in there. They're not going to read the little lines in between to figure out, oh, yes, this person does have HR. Because most of them don't, you know, time-wise and all that stuff. But I guess you brought me to my next question, which was, but would you put that person in a position to where they had to question their friendship with you?
If I was willing to put my reputation on the line for someone, then the answer is yes. But once again, and I'm saying this from experience, just because it worked in my favor, just because it benefited me in my career, because I can handle being in a situation that I could hire someone that could call me out for not doing my job or challenging me. I know for a fact that 90+% of the time that doesn't happen. So if you're asking me, should we do that? And knowingly allow it to happen, like create a process for it, sign off on it? My answer is no.
I like that answer.
Yeah, no. Okay, in my youth, I would help friends get jobs and be like, yeah, put my name on it. Yeah, you would want, and I can give a shit. Just want you to work, you know, have a job, right? In my old age, I'm going to use my favorite movie quote here, Scarface. No, fuck no. I would not put you in my I would not put my name on anybody because unfortunately I am now tied to you. You know what I mean? Like unless I feel like you are someone that I trust, and I'll just say this, and it's not bullshit. I would put my name on all of you for sure. But what I'm saying is, I would put my name on all of you. But what I'm saying is, if I know that my name is associated with this person, and I know that they suck, I'm going to tell them no, it's not going to happen. Or I'm going to say, you know what, you can apply if you want. Do whatever you got to do, because I'm not going to stop you from doing it, but I'm sure as hell ain't going to go and put my neck out and be like, oh, this is a good dude, you should really bring this. No, you get none of that from me. And if you're my good friend, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to be like, no, you're not going to like it there. It's not your cup of tea. And I would say, plus I do not need to be worried about you, and it's going to damage our friendship, and that may even damage the friendship, but I don't care. Like, that's my livelihood now. that you're messing with, because now I'm putting my name on you, and if you suck, it's gonna come back to me, right? And then I gotta deal with it.
Absolutely.
You're the way I look at it is you're co-signing. When you reach a certain maturity level at work, a certain position, a certain experience, it's like signing your name on a house or a vehicle with them. You are stuck with that because the moment they screw you over, that is now your reputation. You'll lose all credibility, and you'll have to start all over again with another company in order to get that back, because you'll never get it back. You won't. Even if they manage to replace everyone above you, there'll always be rumors about, oh, don't hire anyone they recommend. You're co-signing your reputation onto them, and honestly, even like I don't care if they're family. Like I don't co-sign for people. I don't, unless I'm willing to pay the debt myself. I don't co-sign on people.
Yep.
Yeah, no, because look, I've been in that position where I've co-signed for someone, and the best friend I grew up with, loved him to death, and I guess it depended on the time of the month or the time of the week or whatever it was, but it was depending on what girl he had that week is what it was.
Oh,
so whether he would show up to work or not after school, and those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a long time ago, and I'll talk about this company because it was really funny. I was the assistant manager at Church's Chicken for about like 2 months.
Sorry.
And we all started somewhere, okay? Not all of us.
No, wait.
Target.
Hold on. First of like 20 years old.
Just time out. I just got to say it. Church's Chicken is the shit. It's amazing.
It is awesome.
It puts Chick-fil-A to fucking shame.
Oh no!
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I was going to say, look at what state he lives in. Okay, come on.
Come on, buddy.
I'm just saying. Anytime I get the shit on Chick-fil-A, I will do it.
We need you to take that back. That sweet tea and that lemonade and that Chick-fil-A sauce is just slamming.
Mm-hmm.
Overrated. All right, let's go.
just like that sign off from you, huh? It's overrated.
Get to your point.
But my whole point of all of it is that I hired my buddy. He came in, great guy, but I signed off on him and I hired him. And he was worse than the girl that I had to tell her to take her tongue ring out of her mouth, because if that ball falls out of her mouth and into the deep fryer with the chicken and somebody bites into that, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. And the only reason why I truly pointed that out to her was because it actually happened at Burger King a long time ago.
Well, it's part of the charm of Burger King.
But the irony behind it now just clicked in my head. She broke her crown. And I don't mean the one that she gets from the paper crowns at Burger King. I'm talking about the crown in her mouth. It split it in half. And so because when she bit down her burger onto the ball of that tongue ring. And so I explained it to the young lady.
It's a tongue ring.
Don't do
that. It's in her tongue.
You just French kiss that girl or guy. I don't know.
Whole other topic: appropriate jury and tattoos while working.
That's the next episode.
Appropriate jury and tattoos.
What's jurying?
Jewelry.
Oh, I think it's a juryin. I was like, "What's juryin?"
Oh my god! Sorry, I'll try to.
You got to speak
more.
Texan.
Like you're from Louisiana, you should understand my drawl.
Your drawl. Do me a favor. Say the word dereliction.
Dereliction.
Dereliction of duties. I had to have this conversation.
I can say dereliction. It's Dr. Green. There you go. That's how you say it. All right.
Yeah. Unless you say it like back home, it's dereliction.
Dereliction.
Mama Mel, bring us back to the next topic.
I want to talk about something that's often missed, which is the aftermath, aka survivor's guilt. We
Yeah.
survived. We made the cut. We survived the Titanic. We did not sink with it. Toodaloo, Rose and Jack, I'm sorry, but what are we feeling it when we're the employees that are left behind?
Survivor's guilt and PTSD combined.
Yeah.
Oh, but go further.
Yeah.
What about psychological safety? Your
It's not
psychological
there.
safety's
It's not there.
No.
and it's worse when you become friends with 3 of them and you're gone. Like you're the only one left.
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
make a
you
podcast
should know how
about
that feels. They make a
I mean,
podcast.
it's even worse when you it's even worse when you think you had 3 friends and you didn't realize they didn't like you.
Oh,
Ooh, that is bad.
Damn. That is pretty bad. But now
but
let's
you
walk
know-
got 4 friends just trying to figure out HR.
I love this. I love the pun game. No, but I here
There he goes.
there goes his internet.
He's like, I'm gone.
He's done. He's done.
He's talking. Hold on.
He's mute. He's muted.
Hold on 1 second. I went up on camera. Y'all keep going.
All right.
Hold
No.
on. One
Hold
second.
on. No, but here, and this is sad. Not sad to me, but it sounds sad. Okay, I do not socialize with people at work, like outside of work. I do not, and it's for that reason. I've seen so many friends that I thought were friends, or people who I work with all the time, get cut, lose their jobs, get fired, whatever, right? And so what I realized too is like I wasn't on the receiving end of a lot of these things, but I would try not to mix my like I'd get invited places like, hey, let's go, there's a party at Joe's house, let's just go to Joe's house. And at first when I was younger, I would go to a couple places and it was cool. But then it gets messy, drinking and all that stuff, and then they get cut and you're like, oh shit. And so the defense mechanism I put up is I don't do that. I don't become close with people. And if I do, it's a select few, right? 1 or 2, or just 4 friends. And I try my best to honestly not give a shit about what's going on outside of there, other than what's going on with me because of this. I definitely have a defense mechanism built for this because I have seen it happen too many times. And then when I was on the receiving end of one of these layoffs, the truth is there. I think Jake had said it, like you find out these people were not your friends, even though you thought they were, or you thought that hey, we're ride or dies, we're awesome, we're go team, and all of a sudden you get laid off. They like you become radioactive. No one wants to talk to you. I think I've said it. Like I had 16 million people tell me, oh, if something changes, we pick you up right away. Oh, we'll get you over in this department. We love you. And then I get cut, and I'm calling everybody for those favors. Like, hey, remember that favor I did for you? Remember that favor I did for you? And not one put their neck out because you become damaged goods. Like you got cut. Nobody wants you. So
think about it further, though. Remember that time that I had a position, and then I was told we're going to do whatever we can to get you back. We're going to bring it back. I was like, yeah, sounds great. Was I worried? Not really, because I had a sugar mama at the time. Well, I still have a sugar mama, but I don't tell Emily she's a sugar mama anymore.
Emily, you better come get your man, girl.
Yeah,
I must say, even job security, she's still better than you.
Dang. Okay.
Look, you know as well as I do. If it comes to one of y'all being laid off, it ain't gonna be her.
Anyway, what was I gonna say? Good Lord, you done got me off track.
Sorry. But while you're thinking about that,
oh yes, okay, I remember now. Sorry. So, but you had those people who were like, yeah, we're gonna get you back on. We're gonna get you back. And I was like, all right, cool. Whatever. And then like 3 months later, hey, we found this job for you. We want to make sure that you'd be good for it. And of course, I had a doctorate, so I was like, yeah, of course I'd be good for it. And it's funny because now I teach emotional intelligence. That's
a bingo card moment. Go ahead.
But now I'm actually teaching those things to my whole entire institution about emotional intelligence and how that applies as self-awareness, self-regulation, etc. But I was supposed to come back and do some of those things. And then, no, they're gonna be so excited to have you back. They're gonna be so excited to have you back. And then, just like all the other ones, the people who you put your stamp on, they come back and say all these things, and then cricket, cricket, cricket. And you're like, wait, what happened? This is what you told me you're gonna do. And that's why I agree with Big Llama when I say this part. I would put my stamp on every single one of y'all. If y'all ever came to Louisiana, I would hire y'all in a heartbeat. I know exactly where to put every single one of y'all. I know where to put Jake from HR would be employee engagement. Big Llama. Oh, that's a tough one. Employee relations.
Head of all cool shit. That's what you put me for.
The head of all cool shit. And I'd put Mama Mel. Mama Mel would be my recruiting tactics expert. So she'd be talent acquisition extraordinaire, is what she would be. And
that's the HRO from Mama Mel. Come on now.
Can't give away my title, damn it! Don't be like that.
Chief Mama Mel.
Exactly. Well, you know what? We'll make Jake from HR ED. We'll make sure everybody know he has the ED title.
The emergency doctor, emergency room doctor.
No,
okay,
no. Executive director title. Okay. And I know a big one. This is not erectile dysfunction. If you need room, you'll get it.
You didn't have to spell it out. I think everyone knew that we were talking about ED.
You're the only one making a face. All the other ones were like, huh?
See,
can I?
Go. We got to figure out where we're going to put everybody if we hire each other. Mama Mel would be my face to the employees. Yep. Big Llama would be my programs manager. I would put you as my policy advisor.
That's
who, me?
Or you got to know where you would place people.
You, PhD.
Oh shit! Look, number one thing.
You would be over policies and processes. Big Llama would be over HR programs and structure. Mama Mel would be front of house. She'd be the face of the company for HR.
And where would you be?
I would be in the background, letting all my successful employees reflect well on me.
That's my boy.
That's spoken like a true executive, that guy. Can I say one thing about survivor's guilt and burnout? I know there's some notes here, and I agree with all of them. Obviously, the workloads will increase, and everyone is depressed. But there is and this isn't the asshole in me. There is a small level of relief that it wasn't me. It's human nature. I celebrate a little bit that night when I get home, but by saying, "Hey, I still got a job," and sucks for those guys. Again, self-preservation at that point. I do feel bad. I do, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I can still feed my family. So,
but that's what it's about, though, dude. That's what it's all about. And I mean, let's be honest. If everyone didn't have a job, then that's a problem. If everyone did have a job, it would still be a problem.
But that's why I like saying it on the podcast. I like being honest, and like these are true inner thoughts that I have. It's like, thank God I still have a job. I feel bad, and my kids are gonna know when I say this, but I always say charity starts at home. So I feel bad saying
right, you do say that. I remember.
I say it all the time, and when layoffs happen, I'm like, well, charity starts at home. I gotta still have a home, and I feel like an asshole when I say it, but it's a true thought running through my brain.
I like the thought.
Some recommendations, right? Like for our folks and friends and family members, and even ourselves, if we think a layoff is coming. If we suspect a layoff is coming, us as HR professionals, what would we quietly tell listeners? If you suspect that a layoff is coming, number one, update your resume.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if they're waiting until then to update that resume, they are a day late and a dollar short. They should keep their resume updated every 6
All
months
the
to make
time.
sure that they are ready to go and keep it posted on LinkedIn so people can see it.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
and I think they should look for trends like within the organization. So if there's a constant culture of cuts, you should have your resume ready. You should be putting it out there. You should be actively looking for another job continuously, because again, the organization, if you have a stable organization, they have a lot of small turnover, a couple of job losses here and there due to performance. You might be in a unless it's toxic, you might be in a relatively safe place to work. But if you see the culture just spinning, constantly review, and it's very aggressive, looking at budgets, start looking for another job or find another place to go that's going to be a little bit more stable for you, because some people thrive on that shit. I do not.
So when you say thrive, what do you mean?
Like, they love the fact that they can step on someone or be underhanded, or like there's the battlefield promotions. It's a small benefit for those who are
I see what you're saying.
advantageous. Like they go, you know what? Oh, Johnny's gonna lose his spot. I got it, or I can leapfrog this person. And it's a sad world, but sometimes it's that competitive. So.
Well, and it shouldn't be, though, but it is.
No,
and
it is.
That's how a lot of people. That's how you find out when there's a lot of people who are not ready for the position that they're trying to get to. They're not ready for it, and the biggest leader is the one who says, "I'm not ready yet." And I've heard, now I'll disagree with her all day long. I'll slap her upside the head. I'll slap her across the face if I've got to. But I've heard one person on this podcast say multiple times, "I'm just not ready for it yet." Now, I love her to death, but I still want to smack her upside the head and tell her that she is ready for it. She's damn good at what she does. But
I'm the opposite. I felt I've been ready since I was 25, man. Where's my fucking executive position? Give it to me.
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
I want to be like Kenny when I grow up.
The mama of that child. Whose kid is that?
But yeah, one of the things you said though. So in the work environment, there's nothing wrong with those employees that are willing to job hunt during mass layoffs. But what they need to remember is, if you're on a date a serial killer that murdered their spouse, don't be shocked when they come and murder you. Don't be, I thought I was special. No. If they did it to someone else, they will do it to you. The question is just a matter of when. How valuable are you?
Yeah, loyalty doesn't make you immune.
No.
Well, you know what they say, hoes ain't loyal.
So.
Wow.
You know what? I have a comment in my head, but I'm going to save it for the round table.
For the round table.
Actually,
kick us off.
Let's go to the round table. Yeah, let's just go there.
Yeah,
because we need to wrap this up.
We'll start with you, Big Llama, and go around the table.
Oh man. Okay, so obviously, okay, so I hate. This is the part of the podcast that I actually dislike. Right? Is that I sound like I do not like working places, and that's not the case. I've just learned lessons in many, many workplaces that I want to share with people and try to give them the knowledge, right? So one thing I will say is, and I especially when we're talking about layoffs, this time is not promised to anybody, right? So understand that you can do a good job, you can be dedicated and committed, but never sacrifice your personal or your family as a result. I've learned that lesson the hard way. I have suffered in both my personal relationships, my marriage, because I had the scales balanced the wrong way. And in the end, and the reason I say it this way, in the end, I was laid off after 20 years. After 20 years of dedicated time away from kids, hurricane duty, overtime, all this stuff that I thought I was an important piece of a puzzle. immediately laid off because of an asshole named Tony. I fucking hate you, Tony.
Fuck you, Tony.
Fuck you, Tony. That's gonna be my next shirt. But all because I had a personal issue with one guy in 20 years. All that loyalty, all that time spent, all the sacrifice, all the moments I missed with my family, gone in an instant in a layoff. And so that's what I'm saying is you can have pride in your work, you can do a good job, you can be one of the best workers, but not at the expense of your family, because at the end of the day, we're working for profit centers and people who need to make money. And sometimes it means to cut people, and you might be that cut. So just be prepared, have your things in order, and do the best thing, and just be a good person, and hopefully it will come back to you. If not, something will happen afterwards. But I have to just say that, because I know this layoff part really bugs me, and I'm not kidding when I say again, with all my chest 10 toes down, fuck you, Tony. All right, anyway, thank you.
Tell us how you really feel about Tony.
And honestly, I've always used code names. That's his real name.
Ooh,
I just haven't said his last name.
Yeah.
It's reminded me of that. What was that? Is it the island story where the two people are going, what's your name? Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Tony.
Listen. I will say his last name. Anyway, but
save that for a rainy day.
No, last thing. No, hold on. Last thing. You know why I don't have to say his last name? Because he listens to this podcast, and I know he does.
How do you
because
know?
I know he does, because he stalks my LinkedIn page. So
Woo,
if you're
loser.
listening, exactly.
Damn. Bro, yeah.
Not that into you. He never was. You're insecure. You've got a little man syndrome. And honestly, step up to us, because we'll take you on.
Let's go, bro.
Thank you. And he eats tomato slices on the
we'll
side.
call in some complaints.
Where does he work at? I'll leave a Google review. Give it to me.
I will make sure that the Body Talk has a review on him.
No.
Tony didn't
Listen,
pay his tab.
I need to go to therapy because of Tony, but I will show up at his funeral. I'm just telling you that right now.
Dang.
So if we all get an invite, that means it's the funeral of Tony.
I'm gonna be there. They better not let me know where it is. I'm gonna be there.
He's gonna be there. And he's gonna spit on the casket.
Nah, they're gonna say, does anyone have any kind words to say about Tony? I'm gonna walk up and say my kind words.
Don't die, Tony.
I'm gonna say it to his son.
Oops.
Anyway, go ahead.
Too late.
I'm really angry right now. I gotta stop. Go. Sorry.
All right, Dr. Green, spit some words of wisdom.
Oh man. Layoffs suck. We all know that, but and I know we've kind of went in and out on this because I'm the one that always squirrels it. So I'll be okay with that. But however, look, 99% of the time we barely know what's going on when it comes to a layoff. We get told last minute, and the fun part about it, which is not real fun, it is, hey, I need you to go lay them off. Because when we get told, that's when they get told, hey, go lay them off. And I'll tell you, still to this day, and I think you said it, Big Llama, which was basically, if you're happy-go, hunky-dory, and gung-ho to go fire, you are not in the right place. You don't need to be in HR. You need to get out of my profession. And I say my profession because I honor and care about this profession, especially when it comes to terming someone. You can term them the right way. You can term them gently. You don't have to do it harshly. And the same thing can go for a layoff. Yes, Tony may deserve it. Tony deserves the layoff. However, you're going to still see me telling Tony, hey, Tony, thank you so much for your services. Even though you fucked over my bro, Kenny. Just want to let you know, I can't tell you deserve it. So I'm going to say, thank you for your time. Have a great day. But all in all,
positive intent, man.
Yeah, I had positive intent in that. But my little golden nugget, or what was the other part with it we use? My little note for this is that cut your HR slack. And if you are HR, cut yourself slack. This is not, this is a tough field. And for the people who still think, and like, because I had a family member who did this and it royally pissed me and one of our guests that we had here before, Holly. So thank you, Holly, again for all you've done for us. Holly, I had to text her one time and I said, I just got told that HR, all we do is secretary stuff. And you see the look on Mama Mel's face. That was the face that I made. And the response I got from Holly was anger face, anger face, anger face. Because it's not just, let me go to this meeting or let me schedule this meeting or schedule your flight or whatever it is. We don't do that. That's no longer the jobs that we do. We do layoffs. We do hirings. We do coachings. We do organizational development. There's a lot more that we do. So please do not think less of yourself for all the hard work you do as HR, because we are slaves for the cash is what I would say. We are the slaves for the cash, because we're just trying to, as Big Lon would say, we're just trying to feed our families, man. So we do a lot more than what people think. So I will thank every HR person. Y'all do a lot more than what you truly think. So,
except Tony.
Our name.
Period.
Oh, hold on. Was it clock it?
All right,
Clock it.
Mama Mel, spit some
Listen.
love.
You are not your job. Okay. Your job is not your identity. That is not who you are as a person. That's a chapter. That's 8 to 10 hours of your day. But that is not who you are at home. That is not what you are loved or hated for. Right? You are replaceable everywhere but your home. Please practice a good work-life balance, because at the end of the day, we are a number. And don't forget that. Please don't forget that. You can love your company, appreciate everything that it's done for you, appreciate that it pays your bills, that it feeds your family, that you're able to afford nice things because of it. But do not doubt for 1 second that they will not replace you. So use your benefit time if you have it. Advocate for yourself, speak up for yourself, speak up for your team, speak up for anything and all of the injustices that happened or that have happened or will happen or happen, whatever. But your job is not who you are. That is your job, and you get paid to do that. Done.
Thank you, Mama.
Well, you made me think about that interview with the lady. He said, do not love your job your love.
The job, your love.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
And she's the meme on TikTok right now because they're like, don't die trying, try dying.
Try to die.
And they're just going over and over these different things. If you say it backwards, it just sounds wrong. You made me think of that, Mama Mel. Don't love your job your love.
Your love.
Which, if you think about it, your job is to love, and who do you love is your family. So, my words of wisdom is going to be that it's a two-parter. The first part is going to be you should be doing an interview at least once a year. If you're not interviewing at least once a year, then you should be close to retirement. Not because you're looking for a job, but because, one, you're keeping your skills fresh, you keep your name out there, you're putting your reputation out there. Then if someone makes you a pretty decent offer, but you're not really wanting to accept it because it's not for a substantial amount of more money or doesn't have a better culture, then you can politely turn it down, and you now have a reputation with that company that you can always come back later on and potentially get a job with them. The second part is, and I say this religiously to everyone that comes in contact with me, you never, ever turn down an interview. You always turn down the job.
Turn down the job, not the interview. Interview is your great practice to see what the market is like at that time.
Mm-hmm. So,
great point.
And so those are my words of wisdom. That's my 2 cents. And with that being said, we are not going to job our love. We're going to love our jobs. We say this with much love until we call you into the office next time for a mass layoff.
I'll fucking read it.
See you.
Bye.
I'll see you at the funeral home, Tony. All right.
So we're gonna cream.
Well, that's another episode of the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR. We didn't solve anything, but hey, at least we tried.
And by tried, we mean we laughed, we overshared, and we probably violated some HR guidelines ourselves.
But remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take our advice. Seriously, don't.
And if your HR manager asks, you've never heard of us or this podcast.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and join us the next time as we keep trying to figure out HR and fail spectacularly.
Now, go be productive, or at least pretend to be.
And tell your boss that I said hi.
Tell your mom I said hello.
Tell your daddy I said hey.
And remember, hate has no home here.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week again for a fresh round.